Welcome back to another episode of the Bouncing Potatoes. Today, I am Osanda, and with me I have.
Christian.
That's right. So our third potato, Ethan, is not here today. Lovely gentleman canceled on us literally the last minute. Could have let us know ahead of time, and I wouldn't have been so angry. But hey, life happens sometimes. Anyway, so before we get into our podcast, which again, the prompt has changed now because we were originally going to do a bunch of deep questions and one current event, which, as you all might remember from last week, is our hot potato of the week. We're kind of going to go play it by ear. But before we begin all that, Christian, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. So I got back to work after a long hiatus. I was on medical leave and on Monday, and just took it slow. Didn't really you know dive into anything too difficult, but I was getting more productive throughout the week, so it's good. I was relying on coworkers to kind of help me out. I'm still somewhat new to the job. It's about almost a year in. At least, I was about 10 months in before I got on medical leave, and now, um, so I still don't have much more experience than that. But yeah, no, it's true.
Oh, wait. So a year of experience is not that much in that field, really? Like, I mean,
No, it's
not
not. No, it's not.
I mean, okay, fine, I guess. That's crazy, though. I mean, yeah, like, it took me 6 months, I would say, to really acclimate myself to my past job. But a year is crazy.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes a year. It takes a year to just get the basics down. Like there's so many different things to work on. Like you have to. We're talking about a whole plane. Like there's wings, there's seats, there's floors, there's a fuselage, there's an avionics bay, there's an electronics bay, there's engines. So know how to fix just about anything that goes wrong on a plane, which is you never know how to fix anything that goes wrong. But if you know how to learn how to fix anything that goes wrong, and that takes a lot of practice. I'd say it's at least 2 years to get solid. Um, some people can be pretty good at 1 year, but I think 2 years is like that's when you can be good at the job.
Mm, You would benefit from talking to my dad about this, actually, because he's been an aircraft technician, whatever. He's been fixing planes for like 35, 40 years now. So your audio has now cut out, Christian, and I know it's
Really?
not me. Yeah. Oh, there you go. It's back. All right.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so yeah, yeah, that's cool. Is he a mechanic? Is he like? I mean, is he doing the like using tools and stuff? Yeah. Okay.
He works at JetBlue.
Yeah. Blue. Okay. Got it. Very nice. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So let's see. What else happened? All right. So I didn't want to share this at the time because I didn't want to share just in case my. Well, no. You know what? I'm not even gonna share. I don't want to share. It's it's too dangerous because for reasons. So just know there's a covert operation happening, or that was happening, that is now over. That I can't talk about it because it's top secret. Um, yeah,
What a tease! Is
yeah, that
that
is a
code for
tease,
you
right?
talking to a girl? Is that code for
No,
you talking? Oh,
it's
okay.
not.
Oh, so it's legitimately like a covert operation at the company that you work for.
But I won't say anything more than that.
Okay. All right. Well, good for you because your mic cut out again right when you said that anyway. So it like literally
Okay,
wasn't.
well, great. If I do this?
So remember,
Does
you
that
have
work?
to have it facing away from you.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing
So,
right now. Is it
but
working?
it's no, it has to face more down away from you. There you go. I think also maybe when you fiddle around with the buttons with your ADHD ass, you're possibly messing with it. So yeah, if you stop fondling the mic, maybe then it'll be able to work well. Okay, so that could be the issue that's going on. Um,
Yeah.
anything else with your week?
Just having a spirituality about life and having a purpose to it all. It's funny. I was talking to my aunt, and well, I was talking to my mom, and I started. She asked me a question. I can't remember, but I started talking about how I believe that there's everything happens for a reason. And I had been thinking about that, and then the next day, I get a on our family group chat. My aunt says everything happens for a reason. She just says it on there, and she hasn't talked to my mom or anything. Um, and then the next day I call her, especially because I saw that, and I was like especially because I saw she said everything happens for a reason. I think I'm gonna call her today because I want to talk about that, and talk about a lot of things. But when she's out going to the store or something, so when she gets out of the car and she sees some woman, the woman has a shirt on that says everything happens for a reason, and she says that, and she's like everything happens for a reason. And I'm like, oh, interesting. I was just about to tell you that I was thinking that same thing, and I know that you were thinking that same thing. So yeah, that's pretty. It was pretty a pretty crazy, chilling encounter there. Um, but that's a big part of why you're smiling. Chilling encounter. What's up with
Because
that?
no, nothing. It's just we can get into this debate now about whether everything
Oh,
really happens for a reason or not.
oh
We
yeah,
can get into the debate.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
look, here's one of my biggest philosophies about life. Life is hard, hard as hell. You want to believe that things are as good as they can possibly be. You don't want to assume that life is bad. That will get you killed sometimes by your own hand, by somebody else's hand, because you know you have to make everything takes effort, and the hardest things require like they require almost like an existential or spiritual belief sometimes, and that's why there's so many people that believe in God, around the world. It's billions of people. It's because in their darkest moments they go to God and they're like, hey, I need help, please help me. And they, as far as I can tell, people actually genuinely powerfully feel a sense of assistance, a sense of guidance, a sense of purpose in asking God for help. And some people talk to Jesus, people talk to Muhammad, maybe, I don't know. People ask for Shiva and Vishnu and anybody. But um, the point is, spirituality is really powerful, and it's the thing that I think gets you at the most difficult times. So that's one of the I don't know if you want to interrupt me, but that's the basis for my spiritual beliefs. No, you don't. I also wanted to say that because everything is if everything happens for a reason, I mean we can talk about that. Like the idea in my head is that um is the best possible reality to believe in. Um, and you mentioned if somebody gets raped, why did that happen? We're not talking when I say that it's not to say that you attracted rape. That's not really the idea. The idea is it happened to you, but there's a reason that there's a better life that you're being guided towards by um you know you're looking at me, it's so crazy. Your look is just distracting me here. Just try not to think so much about rape, okay? Because you think is because look, Osanda, every single person in history has been through incredibly difficult times. Okay, I mean, people have been enslaved for their entire lives. Okay, they've been imprisoned for wrongfully for their entire lives. They've been, child sex trafficking. Okay, all this is horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. Okay, but and kids with parents that just beat up on them all day long and put them down all day long. Okay, and so it's not just rape, it's not just any one particular thing. Why do bad things? And on paper my life looks like it hasn't really had any tragedies in it, but maybe it does. But um I've had a lot of very difficult experiences, and I have had to ask myself, why do these bad things happen? And um do it is not is isn't like it's not it's to say that something that happened isn't so bad that you couldn't overcome it. And um, so even just because bad things happen doesn't mean that you can't overcome it and still live a good life. That's the point. So
That's
no
a
matter
great
how bad it is.
that's a great point. But
Okay.
everything happens for a reason doesn't necessarily equate to that great point. If your point, overall point, is that what you just said, that's totally fine and fair. But everything happens for a reason does not mean what you just said. Those are two separate statements. You can interpret everything happens for a reason as being that statement, but keeping in mind that not everyone will think that same way about everything happens for a reason. Whereas with the what you just said, that's very much like a cut and dry situation where there's really only one way to interpret it.
Yeah, I understand. Um, but
Let the record show that I make Christians speechless. That's quite difficult to
look, I think I think if you look at something from the outside, sometimes it can seem worse than it is. And if you look back on something, sometimes it can seem worse than it is. Okay. Like, I think the point I'm trying to make is it is possible to believe that that something that you thought was horrible actually isn't that horrible. Why? Because you can decide to make use of it. If you decide to make use of something, then and it brings you to a better place, um, that you can the best possible reality to believe in is that the thing that happened to you was pushing you towards the reality that you actually wanted. The bad thing that happened.
Okay, I
So
fully understand. I fully understand your point because what
okay,
you're
okay.
saying right now, I get it, and I understand that it's a form of copium, you know. But
It's not copium.
it's copium, Christian. Let's be
Copium.
honest. All right. First off, I want to say that on paper, you could very easily argue that a lot of bad stuff has happened to you. I'm not sure where you got this idea that on paper it looks like bad stuff hasn't happened to you. That's not true at all. Um, but the reason why I can confidently say your belief right now is copium, and there's nothing wrong with that because we all need a form of copium to get ourselves through life. All right. I personally believe that everything works out. Everything always finds a way to work itself out. That's what I believe. So even though I'm hating on your thing, I'm just calling you out because I can very easily play devil's advocate and see the bad side of it. It's like, it's not exactly like this, but it's very similar to like the law of attraction, which believes that whatever thoughts you think, you attract, blah, 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 blah. the issue with the law of attraction, number one, literally just confirmation bias. All right? Because, for example, I thought of Hillary Duff one day, and then I open up my laptop, go to Yahoo. Christian thinks this is going to turn into a dirty story. It's not. Open up my laptop. Open up my
No,
laptop.
I was actually listening.
Go to Yahoo, and the number one of the top 10 trending searches at the time with Yahoo it would show, and one of the top 10 was Hillary Duff. And then, if I believed in the law of attraction, I was like, wow, that's law of attraction. I attracted that thought, and it showed up. No, bro. That's just confirmation bias. It's like, you envision a parking spot, and then you find a parking spot. Boom, law of attraction. No, buddy. All that is confirmation bias. Because you're failing to acknowledge the fact that there are plenty of times when you have thought of something, and that thing didn't happen. So,
it's all about probability. How often did something come to you when you weren't thinking about it? How often did something come to you when you were thinking about it? So you have to look at it probabilistically. Like what, if it happened 1 out of 1,000 times, if thinking about something has increased the amount of times it comes to you by twice or by 10 times, and it's 1 in 1,000 versus 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 versus 1 in 500, then there is something to it. But those things are so hard to. Yeah, those things are so hard to. Those things are so hard to to know about that. It's because we don't. It's hard to track those things. Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, what do you say?
Everything happens for a reason. I can totally see why you feel that way. That's totally valid. But I will acknowledge that I'm just gonna call you out on it. It's a form of copium. It's nothing wrong with it. Again, everyone needs their own form of copium in order to get through life. Yours just happens to be everything happens for a reason. Mine, when things hit the fan, is usually everything finds a way to work itself out. That's a form of copium. That's also just my confidence in myself, knowing that I'll be able to get through everything, and I'll just figure out a way to get through it. But it's still a form of copium. Everyone has their own form of copium. Again, some turn to religion, some turn to spirituality. Unless of course you're nihilistic, in which case you don't have that. And then nihilism is definitely a crazy thing. I'm not nihilistic, thankfully.
And nihilism is not too good.
Yeah. My cousin, 10 years ago or so, maybe even, 10 years ago, he was nihilistic. He's the first one who even told me about it. So I don't know if he's still nihilistic or not. I haven't really talked to him in almost 8 years or 7 years. I don't know. But, yeah, that's kind of how that goes. Did you have anything else to say about your week, by the way?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay. So, moving on to my week. Like Christian, kind of like Christian, but I also started working a new job. So, I have to wake up 5:20 a.m. every single day. And for those of you guys who know me, my bedtime is sometimes at 5 o'clock. So, it's very, very, very difficult for me. The first 2 days of work, I was running off 3 hours of sleep. The next 2 days, I was running off 5 hours of sleep. So, making improvements. I am trying to get up to maybe 6 or 7 hours of sleep realistically. Realistically, 7 is definitely the max. There's no way I can ever get 8 on a weekday, and that's fine. Also, I lied to myself. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to wake up 5:20 every single day now. Saturdays and Sundays included. That didn't happen. Yesterday, I woke up at 2. Today, I did wake up earlier, though. I woke up at like 8 something. So it's not bad. But, I'm never gonna be the type of person who can wake up at the same time every single day. Unless that time is like 11 o'clock. I could wake up at 11 o'clock every single day. Like Christian, I've also done a lot of soul searching. Kind of just really dealing with some stuff, learning about stuff. Recently I've learned about like why I crave external validation so much. And I've been talking to ChatGPT about this because last week,
I, I know your logic behind that, but I think some people would laugh at that too. Like you're talking to ChatGPT about it's
oh
like
yeah, last
that's a
week,
therapist.
yeah, last week your brother was telling me, oh yeah, why are you talking to ChatGPT? You should just talk to us about it. And I'm like, because you guys don't really respond. Like, okay, so we can get into this debate right now, but like, there's a lot of reasons why I prefer ChatGPT over talking to y'all. Number one, I don't want a trauma dump on you guys. That's me, looking out for you guys. That's number one. Number two, to give you a real life example, so I can really hammer my point home. All right. So I messaged your brother. By the way, your brother, he lacks empathy so much. His empathy skills need a lot of work. I don't know if you've noticed that about Ethan, but not Jordan. Ethan. Let me see. So I'm looking up a real life example about this. Also, again, just because you think I might be talking shit, I will definitely message Ethan this too later, or I'll call him out on it next week as well. All right. For those of y'all who think I'm talking shit, I do not talk shit. I always usually say it right to their face first, and then I put it out. So, real quick, it's not really real quick. So I was talking to Ethan about my ex, and all right. So I'll just read it verbatim. So on September 25th at 1:08 a.m., again when I should have been sleeping, I was messaging your brother instead, and I said, also, I don't think my ex will come back anymore. Since you'll ask how come, I think her ego, and also just because she has moved on from that past and wouldn't want to take a step back. And that's okay. If she does, then I'm still a maybe about getting back together. But the main thing really is that I won't let the relationship be so one-sided again, and that is what I'm hoping a therapist can help me out with. This was your brother's response. Ah, that makes sense. That was it, right? Now, this was ChatGPT's response to what I said.
I think I mean maybe he's not bad at empathy in that sense, but he's
No,
just
no,
not good at describing his empathy.
he's bad at empathy because when I said, "Oh yeah, today would have been our 9-year anniversary," this motherfucker's response was, "Oh, it's my 6-month anniversary."
Yeah, that's uh
Yeah,
the last time you talked about how much he loved his girlfriend, you're like, oh man, I think I want to shoot myself.
no, it's not that he loves his girl. Nothing wrong with homeboy loving his girlfriend. It's the fact that she spoils him so
Spoiled.
much. Yeah,
I mean,
that's.
I don't say that in a bad way. I think it's great. But you're
No,
saying,
I
but
think it's great
that's
too.
your
I think it's
opinion.
great too. But I'm sure you've seen the lovey-dovey videos on Instagram, and then the comments are just like,
I have not. I don't look at that.
never mind then. All right. So here, this was ChatGPT's um reaction to what I said. It's important to recognize and accept that people may move on from past relationships for various reasons, including personal growth, changes in priorities, or simply because they have different paths to follow. It's also positive that you're open to the possibility of moving forward and exploring new connections. Your willingness to work on establishing healthier dynamics in future relationships is a valuable insight. A therapist can indeed provide you with guidance and tools to help you maintain balanced and mutually fulfilling relationships. They can assist you in setting boundaries, improving communication, and ensuring that both partners are actively participating in the relationship. Remember that personal growth and self-awareness are key to building healthier relationships. By reflecting on your past experiences and recognizing the importance of equal partnership, you're taking important steps toward fostering healthier connections in the future. If your ex-girlfriend does decide to come back, it's essential to have open and honest conversations about your expectations and the changes you'd like to see in the relationship. Clear communication can help ensure that both of you are on the same page moving forward. So let's compare that with, that makes sense. Which reaction do you think I appreciated more, Christian?
Huh.
Yeah. So again, that is why I was telling him last week about how I prefer to talk to ChatGPT about stuff like this. Obviously, I will get therapy. I'm looking right at the camera now. I'm not saying that I'm not gonna get therapy. I just can't afford it at this moment. ChatGPT is free. Once I can afford it, I will definitely get therapy. So, your thoughts, Christian?
No, it's all good. I mean, definitely. ChatGPT has a good response. I think I even like the way it said it. Like it was actually eloquent. Like it's not just eloquent, but it was actually um well paced and like just well put together. I don't know how they did that. Um, it was good, but yeah, no, that's all I really have to say on it. So,
All right.
would you like to start talking about current events?
Nope. Still moving on. Still going to my week, Christian. I'm not done yet.
Okay. All right. Your week is 17 days long. All right.
So with my week, there was another thing. I got into a slight disagreement with not disagreement, but with my new manager. I messaged her on Teams. For those of you guys who don't know what Teams is, it's Microsoft's. Think of it like a Microsoft app for texting your coworkers, but you're not really texting them; you're messaging them on your computer. I think with tech, it's usually Slack, is what they use. I think.
Yeah, sometimes.
But yeah, so that's Microsoft Teams. All right. So on Microsoft Teams, I said I'm not gonna say my manager's name, so I'm just gonna use a random name. Hey, Rosa. Um, am I okay to use Quizlet to make flashcards? So then later, when I went over to her desk and asked her, she said, you can try using Quizlet to make flashcards. And then she said, also, we want to try to stay away from texting language. So she had a problem with me saying, hey, and then her name. So I normally, in all my emails and all my correspondence, I normally say good afternoon, good morning. That was the first time ever in like 3 or 4 years, really, that I can remember that I used hey. And she got mad. She was upset about it. So then I was furious because I don't think hey is that unprofessional. Because she says hi in her emails. She says hi, insert name here, and then moves on. She doesn't even say good morning, good afternoon, or anything like that. So then Ethan and I had this conversation already, but I'll ask you. Do you think hey is really that unprofessional? Do you think hi is professional? And also, do you think that hello is professional? So hey, hi, hello. Rank those three in terms of professionalism when it comes to email or Teams correspondence.
Oh, hi, hey. Most to least professional.
Which one did you say first? Sorry.
Hello, hi, hey.
Hello, hi, hey. Okay. See, I think that's fair. I would like to acknowledge that hey was unprofessional and I shouldn't have used it. So, just to clarify, the following day, even though I thought she was a total hypocrite, I sucked up, kissed ass, and I apologized. I sent her an email. I think I said good morning in the email, and then I apologized for my unprofessional correspondence. That same mistake will not happen again. And then she came to my desk and she's like, it's okay, don't worry about it. And then later, she left early. She had a doctor's appointment. I'm pretty sure she's interviewing for other jobs, but that's another thing. Because she got a new supervisor who she wasn't expecting, I guess. So she's a little frustrated at her supervisor. So I think that anger that she had at her supervisor low key went down onto me. But then she, because we had a meeting and a training session together, and then I did, I was notating all the questions that were coming in during that training session, and I gave it to her, and she was really impressed by how I handled that assignment. And when she left, she was like, "Thank you for always finding a way to keep yourself busy." So kissing ass, sucking up worked. So for those of y'all who are in a corporate job, unfortunately, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, you are most likely, unless you're a Nepo baby, or a Nepo baby, you are most likely going to have to kiss ass and suck up if you want to get ahead. That's unfortunately how it usually works in corporate America. I have been laid off before because I didn't do that, and I didn't play the political game, not the political game in the sense of uh, Republican, Democratic, but the political game in terms of the workforce correctly. I didn't kiss ass, I didn't mingle, I didn't do any of that. That was my mistake. That's why, ever since that job, I've been trying my best to avoid that. So even though I thought she was a total hypocrite and incredibly incorrect in that situation, I apologize, made myself look so remorseful, even though in my head I'm thinking, fuck you. Um,
Jeez.
but I played that game. So you think hello, hi, hey in terms of professionalism,
I do.
right?
I do.
All right, that's fair. That's also what Ethan said too. Again, like I said, hey was unprofessional, but I just don't think hi is that professional either. That's my personal opinion on that. Any comments on what I just said? Do you feel that you have to suck up in order to get ahead, or no?
Well, it depends on how you're getting ahead. So, like, if you're an engineer and you're trying to promote yourself as an engineer, or if you're trying to also call thing called technical. I can't even remember the name, but basically, if you're going a technical route,
Uh-huh.
you don't need to kiss. You don't need to kiss that to your manager. You just need to be very good at the technical route. I mean, this is the case, at least. You need to be very good technically, and then you need to be very clear on why you deserve the promotions. Like you have to put together the case for it. So it's not like you have to say it. You have to be best friends with the manager. You just have to um, you can do that. But if you're trying to be a manager, um, even then, I don't know. I think it's probably more like that in the higher positions because you have to get to know certain people personally. But if you're trying to be like a first line manager, let's say, then I don't think you have to know anybody in particular because they interview you with multiple people. Um, and I think not all those people are even the ones that, you, so it's not really going to make a difference who you know unless it happens to be somebody who's interviewing you. Um, and like I said, maybe somebody could give you a referral, but I don't know how that works. Yeah, so, uh, I would say, yeah, that's basically all I would say about it. Yeah, like I said, I don't have other experience, but um, in the corporate world anyway. But that's yeah, in engineering, that's
Okay, that's fair. Again, I will also say your mic is still sometimes cutting out, so I don't know what is wrong with it. Um, I cannot hear you at all now, but I don't think
turn
you're
it up.
talking. There you go.
Oh,
All right. So, last thing really about my week, some good news. I was talking to my coworkers and about the podcast, and I told them about our name, the Bouncing Potatoes. And one of the guys absolutely loved our name, so that was very nice. Um, he, you can see it, you can see it in his eyes. He really liked our name. He himself also had a podcast. It had a cool name too. It was a pun though. It was like a philosophical and wine related pun because it's a wine related podcast. So I don't really remember the name. I don't drink wine. I think it was like the Descartes something, I believe, but really chill guy. Um, so that was nice. One of my other coworkers was a little. He said it was unfortunate that we don't talk about sports. I said me too. But that's something that Christian has shut down in the past. So, um,
I know nothing about sports. I know,
uh,
well, I know something about, I know everything about track and field. But nothing about, any other sports and rowing a little bit, but, yeah, everything else. I mean, I guess I know so many basketball players' names. I can't name them off the top of my head, but if somebody says a name, I know whether it's a basketball player so much of the time because I've heard so many names because people throw them out all the time. But I don't know basketball players. I don't know football players. I don't know whatever.
all right. Well, we're going to do a basketball current event, but in the context of a larger social issue. So, Josh Primo is going to be signing a two-way contract with the Los Angeles Clippers. For those of you, like Christian, who don't know who Josh Primo is, he was a first-round draft pick by the San Antonio Spurs, and he was released by the Spurs because of detrimental conduct. So he exposed himself to his therapist, or at least 9 times, I believe. So I don't have the article on hand right now because this is literally, I just decided to talk about this 5 seconds ago. So my question for Christian is, the NBA decided to suspend him for 4 games due to his inappropriate conduct. Do you think he should be allowed? First, do you think 4 games is enough? In this context, it's an 82 game season, just for you to understand. So, like, let's say four divided by 80. All right. Um, so about 1/20th of the season. And so before the Clippers signed him, they did have talks with their female staff to get, I don't know if it was permission, but they talked to them about it. I just don't. I'll go first because Christian's not that familiar with basketball. I don't think that 4 games is enough for someone who exposed himself to his therapist. I think even with mental health issues in mind, which he has, I don't think that's a fair enough amount of time. I think it should have at least been for like 15 games, probably. Um, but unfortunately, how the world works, at least with basketball, I'll say, fine, I'll just keep it in a more of a smaller scale, but at least with basketball, if you're a good enough basketball player, you can get away with certain conduct, you know? So, obviously, we have, I mean, I guess I can say this because Ethan's not here. We have Kobe, for example, kind of a big example. We have Miles Bridges, who brutally assaulted his significant other or whatever, and he was gone for the whole year. He didn't play for a whole year, but now I think he's going to be coming back. And yeah, so if you're good enough, you can get away with certain things. So, Christian, if you can tackle the question, if you were able to focus, even though it's a basketball related event, do you think, again, the question is, do you think 4 games is enough? Or do you think it should have been stricter?
Games out of 82. He's out of he's skipping it.
No, he's suspended for those 4 games. I don't think he played at
Oh,
all last year. No team signed him, but now a team wants to sign him. Again, I'm not 100% sure whether he didn't play last year or not, but I just know that NBA's official punishment is just 4 games of suspension.
yeah, I think it's enough.
for exposing himself to his therapist. Really,
Oh, for exposing himself to his therapist. Um.
on 9 separate
Well.
occasions.
Well. Is it enough? Is it enough? You mean? Okay. Is it enough? I think it's. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's not. I don't think you need to. You know, his life. Everybody makes mistakes. Why not? Look, listen. I understand. Sometimes. Um. I mean, first of all, exposing yourself. It's not. It's certainly really not good. But it's not. Violent. At least it's not like a. It's not. It's not. It's not. I don't know if it's illegal. Is it illegal to do that? It is. Okay.
There's
Oh yeah,
something
like
called
public exposure. Public
public. There's also
Yeah,
indecent exposure.
indecent exposure. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a weird. That's like a little, probably a little known law, but yeah. Um. Well, if it's illegal, then yeah. Well, yeah, then that would make sense. And just morally, is it not right to do? I mean, um. Well, I know it's not right to do, but I'm saying morally, is it not right to do enough to expel him for like 80 games or something? Um. Uh. Yeah, I don't know that it is. Like I said, I don't think he need to ruin his life over um exposure. I mean, he's already getting punished for it. Is he not going to jail for it or anything?
No, he's not. He's. It doesn't seem like he's going to jail. The Dr. Kathleen, she, who's 40 years old, basically, I think her and the San Antonio Spurs settled the case, is what I believe happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or it looks like she dropped the lawsuit. So yeah, settled with Spurs in mid-November of yeah. Okay, yeah, settled. All right, let's keep moving. Do you know about what Elon Musk did? Because I know he was at the border, but I don't know the specifics. So we can talk about it.
I didn't take a look, so
All right. So while Christian's taking a look at that, let me see if there's any current event that we could. Oh, okay. All right. There is one current event that I did actually want to discuss. So, there is a restaurant that was recently in the news for it was bad publicity, unfortunately. But as usual is the case with the internet jumped on this restaurant without knowing all the facts. And I also am guilty of kind of rushing to my conclusion with them. But the thing is, I didn't really put that out there into the world. I just thought of it in my head. So, there is a Vietnamese restaurant in Cupertino, California, which I think is where Apple's headquarters are as well. But just a little fun fact for you guys. So, they are charging an 18% service charge for parties of one or more. So again, one more time, Vietnamese restaurant in Cupertino, California, charging a service charge of 18% of parties one or more. Now, this is not a tip. This is a service charge that's being added on to your bill. So if you order, why am I hearing myself in an echo? We have echo cancel it. There we go. All right. So if you order $100 worth of food, you're gonna get another $18 added on. So let's divide that by 4. If you order $25 worth of food, you're gonna get $4.50. $25 worth of food, you're gonna get $4.50 added on. Now, the internet was extremely angry about this service charge because again, it is not a tip. So first, Christian, I want to see your thoughts before I give you more context about this. Would you pay that service charge?
what's the service charge again? I'm looking at this article. Sorry.
18%.
18%.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what is the service?
What?
What's the service?
It's a restaurant.
Restaurant. Well, how good is the food?
How good is the food? All right. So depending on how good the food is, then you would pay the service charge.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like a fancy restaurant, then okay. But if it's just like a random sit down, random like mediocre, mediocre food, like food, even though maybe it's even popular, but the food's mediocre and it's just been there for a long time or some crap like that. No, well, I mean, obviously, if I sat down and ate, I would pay it, but if I knew about it, I wouldn't go out of my way to go there just to pay an 18% service charge. I think it's kind of crazy. But I paid those before at restaurants that weren't that good, and it's not this feeling.
Now, at those restaurants, did you also tip, or did you just do the service?
Yeah, like 20%.
Wow. Okay. So here's my thoughts on this. So number one, for everyone who's freaking out about this, I get where you guys are coming from because again, I was also like you guys. However, now that a new article has come out with more context, which again is super important for everyone to remember. Yeah, Christian looks like he's. Are you good there?
Yeah, sorry, I was just man, breathing.
Okay. Looked a little worse than the breath there. It looked like a strong, strong. Anyway, oh, horrible. That's just absolutely horrible, Christian. What are you doing, my guy? That looked like a strong. Oh my god. All right. So, on November 10th, 2022, the restaurant posted on Yelp that an 18% service charge would be added to all bills. All right. It's not a gratuity. It's used in part to increase our employees' wages and to cover other employee-related costs and health insurance. A service charge allows more equitable distribution to all employees of the restaurant. Additional gratuity is appreciated, but is not expected. We will be happy to remove the service charge if our service doesn't satisfy your needs. A sign displayed on the restaurant door read last year. Regular customers at Pho Ha Noi in Cupertino say they've known about the automatic 18% gratuity since the policy changed last year. Either they're going to put it on in the menu prices or they're going to make it pretty clear to the consumer where the money was going, said customer Jonathan Honk. So, this restaurant is being extremely transparent about the service charge, and the service charge is actually going to help fund the employees. So I have nothing wrong. I see nothing wrong with the service charge at all. I would gladly pay the service charge as long as the service is good, as long as they don't freaking just like ignore me the whole time. They give me refills on water. I will gladly pay the service charge, and yes, I will tip as well. Because that's just like it's nice to see the service charge going towards the employees. Whereas you have companies like Uber and Lyft that charge extra fees and it doesn't go to its work staff at all. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. How about you, Christian?
No, yeah, I mean, basically, said it before, but like I think, yeah, the point about it going to the workers isn't that's significant. Is it a necessary charge or is it just something they're trying to put on top of you because they're a popular restaurant or something? So yeah, I think yeah, but like I said, if I was there and I found out that there's a service charge, I wouldn't like ask for the waiter and be like, I'm not paying this. Like I don't think I'd do that. But it would be unfortunate.
If the locals aren't outraged, then why the hell are other people outraged? The people who actually go to this restaurant don't care, then y'all shouldn't care. One of the
Yeah.
workers there told me, yeah, because of the service charge, he doesn't have to work 2 jobs anymore. And a lot
Mhm.
of people, apparently, unfortunately, harassed this poor dude A lot of people. This is a quote from the owner, the co-owner. A lot of people are racist. They call to my restaurant and they yell at my employees and they ask us to close the business. That's not nice to do that. We are trying to do that because the service worker doesn't have enough pay for the very expensive living in the Bay Area right now. Like I said, I got no problem with what this dude is doing. As long as the food is good and as long as the service is good. A lot of people were also angry about the whole parties of one or more. I also was kind of like a little, hey, that's a little weird. It's like a one or more. But the owner was saying like, you know, every customer is important. Even if it's a solo customer, we want to make sure that we give them a good service too. But then a good service shouldn't be coming at for free. You should pay for a good service. So that's fair. Okay. Moving on now, we can talk about Elon Musk because that is Christian's homeboy. So go for it, Christian. Take it away. You're taking the charge with this article.
Alrighty. Well, let's see what I can do. So he went to the border. Musk went to the border, and you know, I mean, he's obviously gotten a lot big into political conversations as of late. So I guess he's just trying to see it for himself and get an idea of what's going on, how bad the problem really is, and um, figure out if there's any solutions to it. And I mean, he's not exactly in a position to provide solutions. Maybe he could use Starlink. Maybe he could have some Tesla battery packs on the border. I have no idea how those would providing energy for some electronic systems on a border wall. I don't know, but I'm trying to think of it from a technology standpoint, like from his companies. But in any case, I think he's really just doing it to get get better ability to have a conversation about the border, because he's obviously in a position to to spread a message in the biggest way in the world. Maybe the second or third. Well, not okay. Xi Jinping's got the biggest message in the world, but maybe then it's Musk. I don't know. I think he's okay. Well, at least like, so he went to
He went to the Mexico-Texas border.
Yeah.
And he live streamed himself. Sorry, the Texas-Mexico border. So he live streamed himself there. And he was basically just calling for an expedited legal approval. So, greatly expanded legal immigration system. He did note that he himself is an immigrant from South Africa. So he's extremely pro-immigrant, but he wants the process of legal immigration to be changed, is what it seems like he was saying. If I can
Let me ask you something. You said in response to this article, it seemed, or maybe just in response to other things, you said that you asked Meta AI why Elon Musk is so evil. So why'd you ask that?
Oh, I was just playing around with Meta AI. It had nothing to do with him being at the border.
I still think he's evil.
Do I think Elon Musk is evil? Dang. I don't think he's a good person, but I don't necessarily think that he's evil. He's not a good person. That's how
I think he's a good person.
I don't think any billionaire is a good person. Unless you become a billionaire by winning the lottery. I don't think any billionaire can be a good person. Because you cannot be a good person in order
to... They didn't share their money?
Even if they share their money. No, I don't think they're a good person.
Because that's why. I don't know about that.
You cannot acquire $1 billion in wealth while remaining a good person. Bill Gates,
you have to take it from other people. You don't think he worked? You don't think his work sums up to $200 billion? You think it's just he took it from other people?
It's not that he took it from other people, but it's also just the fact that you have to step on some people in order to rise up to that top and reach that amount of wealth. Even Bill Gates, I talk shit about Elon Musk all the time, but Bill Gates himself is not a good dude either. Like I don't want to get it twisted. It's just Elon gets most of my wrath, but Bill Gates is not a good guy either.
You're saying he stepped on people, but like, who's he stepping on? I mean, he started SpaceX, he started Tesla. Who's and you can say there's a it's not really a debate. He made it very clear what happened with Tesla. He was one of the founders of it, and he's the one who stayed the longest, besides J.B. Straubel, who's also a founder. But um, he was CEO, and who knows who's done more. I don't know. But in any case, he's 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 been with these companies for a long time, and he's made them into these multi-billion-dollar companies, and so you know, and I'm okay. I say he's made them, but he's led the charge to making them into multi-billion companies. I don't think that requires stepping on people. I think it requires, quite the opposite. It's being the person who's getting stepped on. You're the person who's making the biggest decisions as to what happens in the company, and you have to take the brunt of the force of all the things that go wrong in the company. So if other people are making bad decisions, you have to be responsible for it. Um, I'd say both of you have to be responsible for it. It's like if you make a mistake, the worker who's working for you doesn't is not responsible for it. But if they make a mistake, you're responsible for them. Um, and I think I think yeah, I just don't think stepping on people is the right framework to think about it because um,
So you think his transition from work from home to in the office, like when people, when he took over
that you
Twitter.
have to be in the office at least 40 hours a week. Yeah, I don't think that's stepping on people. I think that's saying the company needs to be productive, and we have to have people at in the office because the statistics show that people are way more productive in the office. So there's just no, and anecdotal evidence will tell you that. I think it's just, I think when you look at Musk, or something that, like you specifically, but even a lot of other people, you're seeing his actions, and you're thinking how they affect certain people, and you're thinking, well, why? Like, if they're firing people at well, anywhere, like at Tesla, right? That your friend is talking about how he fires people at Tesla just on the spot, or if he fires
Not a
people
friend.
at
Not a
Twitter.
friend was client.
Client, okay, a client. And or at Twitter, how he fired all those people to get the company. So the moment he got in there, he fired all these people. But the point is, when he fired the people at Twitter, he didn't just do it randomly. Like he didn't do it for no good reason. He did it because the company was on fire and it was about to go down. It's about to go down, and cut costs dramatically in order to make sure the company was actually going to survive. And then thing goes for Tesla. Same thing goes for SpaceX. Firing people, and probably being a very he might I don't know what word you want to use to describe him as a boss, but he's probably not the lightest hearted boss. But he's that it does take effort to be what's it called? And the reason that he's putting in that effort is because he just cares about the company so much. He's not focused on the whims of any one individual person, even himself. Like, he's actually spending way too much time on these companies. I think that's one thing I actually do feel about the guy is that he's putting even his own interests, like the company, over his own interests, like his own health. Like, I think he's not mentally, you know, healthy. I think he's got a lot of, he's got past traumas for sure. He doesn't have. I mean, he has his kids, but he doesn't have a love life. And he says he wants one, and all these things. And I think, it's just he's just not. he's not even trying. So because he's just working all the time. Um, so yeah, that's I think so, and so that's it's not a good idea to do that unless your only goal is the success of the company. Like if you look at like sometimes you look at the results of things to see how where people's minds are, and it's like, well, clearly the guy just cares about the success of the companies. The companies have done well. He doesn't care about his own health. His, I mean, he's not going to the gym. He's not eating healthy. He's just working. He's not, I mean, he's dated some girls or whatever, but he's not had a really long relationship in a lot of years. So he's just working. He may be spending a little bit of time with his kids, but it's not like he's taking them everywhere and doing all these things. No, he's working. um, so that's the thing about the guy. I think it's not like, you know, I don't see it as good or bad fully. Like there are like if you want to talk about like specific instances, maybe you go down to back to 2008. He did this one thing. He said this one thing that was just way too harsh, and that could happen 100,000 times. But he said things that are way too harsh, or he actually did fire people who didn't deserve it, or or and I'm certain he's made mistakes, and I'm certain he's done things that are actually bad. But everybody has, and and to me, the guy has done so much good in putting in effort in companies that aren't just for him to make money. Like if you look at companies, they're not random internet companies. They're not casinos. They're not I don't know there to make money. They're there to do things that are good for people. And that's what motivates the guy is that these companies are doing good for people. He enjoys the idea of doing good for people and having the ability to do that, and just more and more and more and more and more. He wants the maximum ability to do good for people. Um, and that he thinks that the interest of any one person at his companies, isn't doesn't is it needs to not be um uh, put over the interest of the company because the company is, in his eyes, doing more for people than any one person. So that to me, so that's why I don't see the guy as just an evil guy, as just a bad guy because he's not he's not like he's not a Bond villain. He's just a an obsessive you know entrepreneur. That's what he is. So anyway, that's my rant about Elon Musk, at least for now. Um, just to give you my thoughts on why he's not bad. I hope I said something that you haven't heard already, but
Well, I've heard. I mean, there were some good points mixed in there with some borderline bootlicking philosophies as
looking
well. Bootlicking,
looking
bootlicking philosophies. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I will say he has a good point about the importance of citizen journalism. So I can definitely understand why citizen journalism would be important in this day and age, considering how a lot of times the media does only give you one perspective, and with as is the case with most stories, you do need multiple perspectives to get all sides. So he makes a great point about citizen journalism. Props, kudos to him for that point. The whole legal immigration system, that's a very nuanced discussion which I am personally too stupid to really get into. I That's not really what I even wanted to get into, but I will say kudos to Elon Musk for the idea of citizen journalism. However, even with citizen journalism, you have the potential to only get one side of the perspective depending on who is behind the camera. So just keep that in mind as well. It's very important that you get your news from multiple sources so that you avoid what we discussed earlier, which is confirmation bias. If you only watch your news on CNN, you're definitely going to think a certain way. If you only watch your news on Fox News, you're definitely going to think a certain way. Life tip for you guys: if you guys are trying to find something out, I recommend Googling the opposite of what you think. So if you think, for example, that a low carb diet is going to cause you to lose a lot of weight, you should look up how a low carb diet won't help you lose a lot of weight. So that way you can get all sides of the perspective rather than falling under confirmation bias. Thank you.
You said thank you at the end, so it was a speech. I have to clap.
In terms of other current events, really, there's not that much else to discuss. I guess there's one kind of interesting one going on with. Have you ever seen reaction videos? Because otherwise, we can't really discuss this. Like reaction videos, where someone just plays someone else's video, but then they react to it. That's a no. That looks like a no.
Oh, what? Sorry, what?
Never mind. It's okay. So
okay.
let's focus on. So for those of you guys who might have been worried about this, the government is not going to shut down, at least for 45 days. So last night or maybe this morning, they did avert the government shutdown. All right. Oh, here we go. Signed. President Joe Biden signed it late Saturday night. So it's going to keep the government open through November 17th. So no government shutdown, at least not until November 17th. So let's move on to our deep questions. So for our deep questions, we have a lot. Let's see. I guess this is not really that deep of a question. Okay. So on Reddit, there was this thread a little bit ago about men's mental health. So 1 month ago. All right. Basically, it was talking about men. Who do you confide in 100%? So Christian, is there anyone that you confide in 100%? Like, just bare all your feelings to 100%.
No. I can't say everything. I mean, I tell you most things. I told you most things. Some things you wouldn't believe me if I told you, but that's okay. Some things, yeah, some things are better off not said, but those things, but in terms of like confiding in, and just all the things that are important. Yeah, you and Ethan and Jordan. Tell my mom a lot of things, but not the same types of things that I tell you guys, right? Because it's not, it's not certain things aren't appropriate to talk about. They, yeah, I mean, if I had, with a girlfriend, I would confide in 100%. I think that would be
Really? 100%?
yeah,
You would be
hundred
comfortable
percent,
sharing 100%?
100%.
You wouldn't be afraid of being too vulnerable with her to the point where she thinks you're weak? Alright. What happens, worst case scenario, because that's just the way my mind works, worst case scenario, you do confide in her 100%, and then she
Yeah.
does think you're weak and breaks up with you. Would that
Breaks up with you?
yeah, would that um would that lead to you not doing that again with another girl, or would you still do it with
Harder the next time.
wait, you said harder the next, or see, you're muted.
My mic?
Yeah.
My mic. I said yes. I said yes. Yeah, harder the next time.
Okay. All right, that's fair. I will say, with me, I probably did confide in my ex like 90 to 95% of the time. I wouldn't say 100%. I don't think I
Then
could
that
ever.
you needed.
I don't really think I could ever really confide in someone 100% of the time. Like Christian was saying.
100%. I 100% could do it. 100% could do it.
I
I can tell him everything. Everything.
I told you the majority of things, I will say, but there's
And that's what
certain
you're supposed to do, right? Because how else do you have honest conversations about your feelings if you don't confide in them about everything? Like, if you don't, like if they don't know the things that are hurting you the most, then they're not going to be able to help you with it, and you're not going to be able to help them. So
yeah,
you
but
talked
what
about that. You talked about that, right? Because you said that there were some feelings that you had that you didn't express. You were pushing them down,
Mhm.
and you didn't realize you were pushing them down until after the relationship. So that could have been one of the biggest reasons why you didn't come closer together, because maybe she'd seen that you really do care about her a lot, and that you're not just flippant about her not wanting to be in a relationship. You actually cared a lot. Then maybe she would have considered it and been like, okay, well, I actually feel, and since you really care about me, I do want, I care about you too. So I'll let you, we'll stay in it. I'm not saying that would have happened, but I'm saying that's a possibility. And I think that going down the route of confiding in somebody is the thing that will make that happen.
all right, I mean that's fair, but look, I can already know without a doubt 95% is probably my max. I can never go 100 with anyone. Um, Also, just because, like, again, what I was talking about earlier, I don't want to trauma dump on people too much, so I kind of like spread it around. Like, I'll tell one person this, and I'll tell another person this. So 100% is crazy. Especially now that, because I did do like 95% with my ex, I probably won't even do like realistically with my next. If I do, get another girlfriend, I would probably go like maybe 80 to 90%. I would definitely not even go 95%. I would hold off
What if you got married?
if I got married.
How much then would you confide in them?
Right now, pre therapy Osanda, I would still say like max would be 95%. 100% is crazy, bro. Like, I don't think there's so many things that like you
Maybe
don't even
100%. 100%. I don't have anything to hide.
uh mm, no. No, I got nothing to hide either, but well, I don't
Yeah.
I don't think I could do uh because I guess the thing with me is I share a lot about myself, but the things that I share about myself, other people will find taboo or like oh that's like very personal. But for
Well,
me, that stuff isn't
yeah, that
personal.
isn't personal.
It's not that big of a deal to share that stuff. Like I think there was one thing I a certain way that I felt that I have only shared with two people. Um, and at the time, even when I shared it, like I don't think they. I guess it's also my fault because I didn't really explain to them why it was so significant. But there's like a certain video from an anime that I really relate to a lot because it explains um my whole mindset on life almost. It's very profound. I'm not even going to share it on the podcast, which is a little surprising. That is something that's more personal and in depth to me than like me talking about like my pooping habits. Like that's just so like it's nothing. But for other people, if they're talking about their pooping habits, that's like like so like an intimate thing and everything. But like I don't really view it like that.
Eh, I'd say go for trying to be able to share stuff like that. Just because, if that's who you are, if that's the stuff you like to talk about, then they should love you for it.
It's yeah, I get where you're coming from, bro, but I'm jaded and I think that now you you I think you'll find this out when you do get a girlfriend, but there's a very big line of like being vulnerable and then coming off as weak. And like it's a very thin line. It's not a big line, it's a thin line in fact of vulnerability and weakness. And you don't necessarily want to see some women don't want to see their partner being weak. If you find a good woman, then yes, they should not care about that. But a lot of women do care about that. That's what I will say.
Find a good woman then.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good one. Like, I don't want to. I'm not hating on my ex. Like, I shared 95% of my stuff. Like, that's a huge amount of vulnerability. So
95% good to you.
90.
That's what you're saying.
No. Just like 95%. Just because Christian, like there, I, you can't necessarily share your issues that you have with her. With
Why?
her,
Why not? Who else? Who else? Who else are you gonna share it with? You're supposed to be the most intimate with the person you're intimate with. You're supposed to share it with them.
there's certain things, Christian, that you can't say to them. You have to just smile and bear it, bro.
I
I'll
think
tell
so.
you.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'll tell you off air, bro. But like, there's certain things that you cannot tell them because,
Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
yeah, like you don't want to hurt their feelings. There we go. You don't want to hurt their feelings.
Talk about it.
Okay. Now let's see. This also again brought to us by Reddit. So, if you could telepathically say something that all everyone on this world could hear at once, what would it be? So for the purposes of this hypothetical, let's assume that everyone understands the language that you're speaking. All right? Let's do it two ways. Number 1, your voice, it's your voice. So, no hiding your voice. Number 2 would be voice modulation. So what are the things you would say? Let's give it 10 seconds. 10 seconds to get your message out. 10 to 15.
I would like to have the best girl in the world. Fight me to the death for her. Everybody.
Wow. All right. More of a shallower one. I was expecting you to go with a really deep philosophical one.
I think that was the best one.
Okay. I would probably say okay, so that's even with voice no voice modulation and with your voice, that's just what you would say.
Yeah.
All right.
What? Yeah.
I would probably say attention entire world. Hear my proclamation. All hail Osanda. And then listen to the bouncing potatoes. That's what I would probably say. So, got that from an anime. Um, but see, if I say listen to the bouncing potatoes, now obviously, um, you know, now the government is going to be looking at you and Ethan as well. So hopefully you two don't rat me out. But then at the same time, since I said Osanda, it's going to be pretty clear to them who said that. So then they're probably going to have to arrest me. And then, our numbers will spike, though. Our numbers will definitely spike. But I would probably be in jail. Or, I mean, I don't know. Would you think you would get arrested for that?
Telepathically communicating with everybody?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So that's the tricky part. Maybe I wouldn't say all hail Osanda. So then it would just be, us three that get interrogated, but then I would hope that you two don't rat me out.
Oh, okay. Wait, say it again?
So, okay, because I'm saying watch the bouncing potatoes, that is therefore singling us out. I'm saying, like, the government will then do their research to find out who said it. They'll
Yeah.
find our podcast, and then they'll be
Yeah.
like, it had to have been one of you three.
Yeah, my message isn't singling me out, but it's obvious who deserves the best girl in the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously they'll definitely be able to tell that it was you who sent that message, without a doubt.
Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously.
Okay. Speaking of women, next question: would you date an actress? You would.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have any problem with her having like sex scenes or like making
Ooh,
out.
ooh, that would be tough. That'd be really tough. Really tough.
Did you not consider this when you said yes?
I did, but I'm a tough guy.
Okay. I'm going to be fully honest with y'all. I could never date an actress because I don't have that in me. I don't have that inner strength, that inner confidence to be able to do that. If I see my girl doing a sex scene with an actor, even if it's a clinical thing, as they tend to say, I'm just not comfortable with that.
Be comfortable with it either. I would ask her not to do any sex scenes. Just don't do any. Just don't take any movie that doesn't have that has a sex scene. Like I couldn't take that.
So, so then you're gonna be limiting her career.
All movies don't have sex scenes. Like there's actors that dedicate to do their entire careers. Even women. I say even women because I think women are in sex scenes more than men. Because people want to see women more than they want to see men in sex scenes. Um, there are even women go their entire careers without having any sex scenes. Like Jennifer Lawrence and I don't know, Amy Adams and
What are you talking about? They've had sex scenes in movies.
Jennifer Lawrence has?
Yeah.
Really? Which one?
Oh, you want to watch it, huh? Literally, it's like I'm pretty freaking confident. You naughty boy.
No,
Notice that. Tis
no, no.
Nazi. Don't worry, I'll find out for you. I'll send it later. But I know without a doubt that she's had sex scenes in some movies. You see how quickly he's like, "Hey, which one?"
I like being right, Osana. So I
Uh huh.
said she
Yeah,
hasn't. I don't know.
bro. She was no, without a doubt. Jennifer Lawrence has had sex scenes in movies. I'm
What about
100% confident.
Emma Stone and Emma the other Emma?
Watson?
Yeah, they haven't had.
No, they haven't had. I don't think Watson has. Maybe Stone, but not Watson. Um, but again, even if forget the sex scenes, even if they're just kissing, I would be too self conscious for that.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take. Especially if they
See
do it over and over
that,
again.
and
They have to do the scene over and over
yep,
again. Yeah. Oof.
yep, yep. So yeah, yeah. That's why, like, when the internet was kind of not hating, well, kind of hating on Tom Holland, but like Tom Holland got a lot of Tom Holland's insanely strong, mentally strong. It seems like because yeah, he's dating Zendaya, and Zendaya had that threesome in the movie, and so I I wouldn't have that strength to be able to do it. Would you date a masseuse?
Yeah, I could do that. I don't think there's any reason to date a masseuse. Um, well, okay.
See,
I know
I
there's gonna
am.
be a reason, but I'm not. But the reason to do it would outweigh the reason. I shouldn't say there's no reason to date a masseuse. I'm saying for me, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't. I couldn't do that unless they only did it with only massaged women. That would be my criteria. Women's only masseuse. That would be fine. That'd be great.
Okay. I mean, women can get happy endings too. Just want you to know that.
um, to women, if you want to give a happy ending to a woman, that's fine.
Wow. Wow.
I don't
I
care.
would say I
I
will.
don't. I would hope they wouldn't do that anyway. But in any case,
So if they give a happy ending to a woman, that's not cheating for you.
no. I don't
What?
know. I don't know. It's not. I don't. Okay. if they're making, oh god, I'm not interested in somebody doing that, so it doesn't matter. It's a moot point. But I think that yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I'm not interested in somebody doing that. But I think that's just a general point of like touching a woman is not to me bad. It's fine. But yeah, a man no good.
Okay, so basically, then, if you had a girlfriend, you wouldn't be down with her getting massaged by a male masseuse.
No, I wouldn't like that at all.
So then, would you get massaged by a male masseuse then, rather than a
Yeah.
female masseuse?
I think I hope my wife is okay with me. I don't know. There's something I don't know. I know it's maybe a double standard, but I don't think.
Yeah, it's a double standard. It's 100% a double standard.
Yeah, I mean, I totally, man, it's fine.
I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah, because if you're gonna
yeah,
tell your
I
woman that she can't,
yeah, no, that's fair. I guess it just depends on what's being touched. Like if you're naked, then that's okay. Let's not talk more about this.
I will say, to answer my own question, if I was dating a girl and I found out that she was a masseuse, I would probably have to lean towards Christian's side of things, and like if she was massaging men, I don't think I would be. Uh, Again, I don't think I would have enough self esteem, self esteem
Yeah.
to not worry about that. You know, Mm, yeah. Unfortunately, I would love to date a masseuse though, because I would love the massage. Like I will massage her. Obviously, like I will hopefully like learn techniques from her, and I would give her massages. But I would enjoy like a weekly massage for free. That would be nice. Um, not even in a sexual way, Christian. In case you're thinking that, like just genuinely a massage, like would be nice. If she chooses to give me a happy ending, even better. But yeah. So I would definitely like to date a mas. I would like to date a
No,
masseuse, I
female
guess, but it
only.
would have to be female only. Yeah. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's like if you date a female only masseuse, is she even going to be able to massage you correctly because she's never practiced with a guy? So it's tricky. It's really tricky, honestly. It's very very difficult. What would you say then would be your dream career for your girlfriend?
Engineer.
Oh, so you want to date an engineer? Interesting.
I'm an engineer by the way, so
All right.
engineers
Hmm.
typically are pretty great.
I don't really know. I actually don't necessarily. I think I might know what I don't want them to do, but I don't know what I want them to do. Would you date someone who makes more money than you?
That's it. It's not emasculating.
Would you say
It's
why not?
fit. Yeah,
No.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe if I don't
All
know what
right.
the word
That's fair.
emasculating means
No,
exactly.
I mean emasculating was the right word for that one. All right. So
It's a
last
good kind
question
of emasculating.
for
Okay.
a lot of people do find it emasculating. Yeah. This is the last question for today. Let's end it on this one. Um, Actually, you know what? We'll hold off until Ethan hopefully joins us again. Ethan, if you're watching this, which I don't think you will, but if you are, you mother. Um, did you have any deep questions that you wanted to ask?
Just about exhausted, so I think we can wrap it up.
Okay. Well, um, this was the Bouncing Potatoes. I was Osanda. With me, I had.
Christian.
And today's not deep quote, but today's quote to end our podcast is going to be, sorry, give me one moment. Want to make sure I get it correctly. It's a little bit of a lengthy. All right. So, our quote for this podcast is Chomp chomp. Munch munch. Gobble gobble.